This is Couples Court with the Cutlers.
This is the case of Simoni versus Gunn. You all have been together for 5 years. You're engaged to be married. You have 2 children together, but there's going to be no marriage unless we figure out what's going on here. Ms. Simoni, you've brought this case. Tell us why you're here.
I'm here, Your Honor, because I am upset. Everybody in our hometown has a story about Cody, and it's getting to the point where I'm embarrassed, I'm humiliated, and I feel like an idiot.
What kind of stories do they have about Cody?
Cheating accusations.
And see, what you're not understanding is so many of these people had a past with me that they just possibly jealous. I mean, I'm here to let you know, like, this is what I want. I want our family.
So, Mr. Gunn, these people just don't want to let you go.
Right, Your Honor.
Miss Simoni, tell me what it was like in the beginning, because it couldn't have been all this humiliation and turmoil from the very start.
We met just at a concession stand in the mall. Through a mutual friend. From that on, we just walked together until we got to know each other. 3 days later, we made it official we were together.
3 days?
3 days.
So, Mr. Gunn, what kind of shots did you fire for her to be the woman for you?
You didn't go there.
I did.
All right, well, you gotta know with a name like Gunn, there's gonna be a lot of pun here.
I understand.
See how I did
Really?
that? Yeah, well, you did it, I can do it. All right, so you figured it out after 2 or 3 days, this was the person for you. You like what you saw, and you like what you saw.
Yes.
What went wrong?
He started to be on his phone consistently. Every time I would sit down, go next to him, he'd swipe out whatever he was on.
So was that different from when you first met him?
Yes, before he was very open about having his phone with me, sharing passwords and sharing secrets, and now it's just like he's keeping them.
Mr. Cutler, if we have one case, we've got 50 cases where the change begins with the doggone phone, the phone is open, and then the phone becomes, you know.
Right, Your Honor.
He keeps it down flat. When you come in the room, he's like, it wasn't me. Right? All right, so Miss Simoni, what do you do once you find out he's being secretive with the phone?
We broke up for 3 months from the end of August from November 6th.
And you get back together when?
November 6th.
So from the end of August to November 6th, you all were broken up.
Correct.
And then November 6th, you get back together.
Yes.
All right. But then some cheating alarms start going off again.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, tell me about these cheating alarms. What was the first alarm?
I had gotten an app on Facebook. It's an anonymous messaging app, so you can share your link through your page and people can message you anonymously. I got a message that said, Cody is cheating on me and I am stupid. And then I got another one. That included 4 women specifically by name.
Okay, Mr. Gunn, please explain why somebody would just anonymously write your fiancé to say you're cheating and she's stupid because you're cheating.
See, I'm not 100% sure why anybody would make those accusations and tell her things like that. But during our breakup, there was one of them that was in the anonymous message that I did sleep with while we had that separation.
But what about the other 3?
I'm not even sure who the other 3 are. I haven't seen these messages myself.
That must have been a wild 3 months. He doesn't even remember who they were. I mean, he remembers one, but it must have been all wild and crazy.
Well, it just leads me to want to know, Miss Simoni, what'd you do when you got these 4 names? Because that's what I'd be like, okay, next.
Yeah, after I got the 4 names, I started digging. I went through my friends, I went through his friends on Facebook, and it's actually a woman Cody referred our children to be babysit by.
You believe your fiancé is sleeping with the babysitter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you talk to her?
I did. I talked to her directly.
Oh, well, I'd love to hear about that conversation. Tell me about that.
I messaged her and I openly asked if she was messing around with him, and she had responded yes, that they were messing around when we had problems.
And Your Honor, that was the time that we were on the break. That is the woman I referred to as during that breakup is when I had slept with somebody else.
Okay, but she sent me a picture.
Okay.
Okay, so
Hold on, love. Let's look at I want to see these text messages.
So you wrote, were you and Cody blanking around when we were together?
When you guys had problems, we blanked around. He would Snapchat me to come over and blank him when you were asleep.
Then it goes on, we had a three-way.
And you said, was the 3 after or before Arabella?
And the old babysitter responds, it was November 26th. All right, did you have a three-way?
It was during that time period of us being broken up, yes.
Miss Simoni, do you believe this is when that happened, when you all were on your break?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Why not?
Because the next day she had sent me a picture with the date included on it.
And you've submitted that to the court as well?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
And this is a picture of Mr. Gunn.
Yes, Your Honor.
On November 26th at 11:22 p.m., hugged up with the babysitter.
Yes, Your Honor.
That night with the picture was a night that was not even about the threesome. There was a party that night. I went to it, hung out with a bunch of friends. Don't remember a lot of the night, but I do know that I did not sleep with her that night.
If you don't remember a lot of it, how do you know that?
Because there was a sobering up period that it was around that time.
You know how mad I would be, Mr. Cutler, if you recommended a babysitter that you ended up sleeping with? Because I would think you just making it casual and easy to have access to her. I mean, this is like, I don't know why your hair ain't on fire.
So are you saying it's worse to sleep with a babysitter than anybody else?
No, I'm just thinking, first she tucks the kids in the bed, then she tucks him in the bed. I hope, but I suspect that it's not true. Miss Simoni, have you found any other evidence of Mr. Gunn cheating?
Sadly, Your Honor.
All right, tell me about it.
We had an old neighbor who he would ask for cigarettes for when he was out, and she had messaged me when I was at home with the children, asking me to ask my fiancé to stop asking to trade nudes with her.
Mr. Gunn, were you asking for nudies?
No, I was not.
Were you exchanging nudies with somebody else?
No, I did not.
So you just happened to look up, and in your inbox are a bunch of new photographs of women that you happen to know.
I didn't even have anything in my inbox.
How does she go from cigarettes to nudes, though?
All right, Your Honor.
I mean, look, take a look at this message. Can you tell your fiancé to stop Snapchatting me asking to trade nudes?
I understand how it looks on there, but all I did was ask her for a cigarette.
There's a big difference between a cigarette and a picture of me being nude or of your neighbor being nude. That's a big jump.
Yeah. And I know autocorrect does a lot of things, but autocorrect does not change cigarettes to nudes. It doesn't do that. Miss Simoni, let me ask you this. You mentioned earlier that, seems like everybody's talking about it, everybody's telling you that he's cheating. Who specifically has told you that he's cheating?
His best friend from many years.
His best friend?
His best friend, yes.
His best friend has broken the bro code, basically told you that he's cheating?
Wow.
Yes, Your Honor.
What has he told you?
He was going to cheat on me one night on a guy's night out at a strip club with a stripper, and that he had kissed an ex-girlfriend while he went to his friend's house.
Man.
Mr. Gunn?
And all that is false.
The entire thing is false.
The night at the strip club, I don't remember. Maybe stuff could have happened. I don't know. I was drunk. I was intoxicated.
Okay,
So I'm not completely denying everything at the strip club.
All right, here's the thing. I got 3 sons, probably in your age group. The bro code is real. I lived with it. One would do something and nobody. Who did it? Wasn't me. Wasn't me. Wasn't me. I thought I had a 4th son named Wasn't Me. So for a best friend to break the bro code, you must have done something pretty doggone outrageous.
And see, this best friend of mine, well, supposed, had also sat there and told her that she'd be better off with him.
Oh, so you think he has an ulterior motive?
Definitely, and every time me and her had broken up in the past, took breaks, whatever it was, throughout our 5-year relationship, he was always right there.
So here's the thing. There's your side, her side, and there's the best friend side. And so what I want to do, I'm going to give you this piece of paper and a pen. I want you to write down the best friend's number, and I'm going to call it. Because she's saying that she talked to him, and you're saying, well, when she did it, he was trying to get with her anyway. We're going to find out what happened and why.
Because I agree. I mean, it takes a lot to want to break the bro code. And if...
Okay.
You got the number?
I got the number. Okay. Hello?
Yes.
Is this Mr. Williams?
Yes.
We're here on the case of Cassidy Simoni and Cody Gunn. You know them, correct?
Yep.
Ms. Simoni has testified that you all had been to a strip club and that Mr. Cody was cheating or was going to cheat with a stripper. Is that true?
Yes, that's true.
Tell me what Mr. Gunn was going to do with this strip club.
He had this stripper on his lap and leaned over to me and said, I'm going to cheat on Cassidy tonight. And she took him to the private dance room, and he came back out and said, I got her number, and she's going to hit me up later.
Wow.
Mr. Gunn.
Like I said, Your Honor, I don't remember that night.
So you're not denying it?
I'm not denying it. I'm not saying it's true.
But you remember enough to tell me that you were just playing pool and weren't looking at anybody?
I was also really intoxicated that night, so...
You came home just fine.
Okay, so again, you're not denying that it happened. You just don't remember one way or the other.
Correct.
Right.
Ms. Simoni testified that there was something with an ex-girlfriend of Mr. Gunn. Can you tell me and tell Mr. Cutler about that?
He invited me down to, come talk with him and her. And then they started getting touchy-feely, and then so I didn't pay no mind to it. I turned around and, I'm not stupid. I hear kissing noises. I know what kissing noises sound like.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I think you brought a lot of clarity, so we appreciate your time. Have a great day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, Ms. Simoni, how did you feel when Mr. Williams came to you and said, look, I got something to tell you. Here's some things that I've seen.
I was very, very upset because why would he lie to me? That was his best friend for many, many years, and...
He's also the same best friend of mine that basically said you would have been better off with him.
Your story to this court and to Ms. Simoni is you have not been physically or sexually intimate with anyone else since you and she got back together on November 6th.
Correct.
Despite your best friend coming forward and saying you did, you maintain that you did not. You have not since you all got back together on November 6th. Is that your testimony today?
Yes, Your Honor.
And she has said, if it comes back that he is in fact cheating, this wedding is off forever. Am I right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Gunn, do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Are you confident that you're going to walk down the aisle with her, or are you just going to walk down this aisle alone?
Oh, I'm very confident that I'll be walking down the aisle with her.
All right, let me just say this to you. We say it all the time. Don't let me bring my expert in here to tell your story. If you've got a story you need to tell it now. Do you have something you need to say?
Actually, Your Honor, yes, I do. There was an incident that led up to conception of a child. And I've never let Cassidy know, and I figured this as the best opportunity to tell her. While Cassidy went to Texas to visit her dad, I did have a one-night stand.
And that one-night stand produced a child?
Yes, Your Honor.
I see the tears. I want to weep with you.
I think more importantly, Mr. Gunn, what do you have to say to Ms. Simoni?
Words can't really tell her how I feel about it, and I am truly sorry. It's something that's been weighing on me for 2 years now.
Mr. Gunn, is this the only time you've cheated? Are there more?
There's one more time.
All right.
While you all were together?
Yes.
Come on. Talk.
How long ago did it happen, and what happened?
It was maybe 2 months ago.
Miss Simoni, I can't even begin to imagine what you're going through right now. What do you want to say to Mr. Gunn?
I don't trust you anymore. And without our trust, there can't be us.
Miss Simoni, I'm going to be kind of blunt with you. You need to not be anybody's doormat.
You all are engaged, you've been together for 7 years, and you previously appeared in paternity court because of concerns over the paternity of your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now you're here in our court, and you brought 2 women with you this morning because you have concerns over his alleged cheating. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's at stake here today?
Our engagement, our entire life is at stake. We just recently got engaged, and I'm pregnant with our second child, and we're planning to get married next spring, and I just have had reasons to believe that he's cheating, and I just don't want to say I do if I can't trust him.
So what does that feel like? You're expecting, you have a child with him. How do you feel knowing or believing that he's cheating?
Overwhelmed and hurt and just a million different emotions.
It must be extremely upsetting to be expecting and having all this going on. This should be a joyful time in your life.
Yes.
And I suspect that it isn't.
I'm ready to get it over with and find out, if we're gonna move forward and say, I do.
So, but if you find out he's cheating, what's gonna happen?
It'll be off.
You'll be done.
It'll be done. I'm a firm believer in marriage, and marriage is a big deal. A lot of people take it lightly, but it's a very big deal to me, and you can't marry somebody and build a life with them and not be able to trust them.
I get that.
Mr. Callender, there's a lot at stake here.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
What are you here to prove?
I'm here to prove that I have not cheated, not one time. I've been completely faithful for the whole 7 years, and I don't know why I get accused every single day. I don't know if it's her insecurities or just past, knowledge of other relationships I've been in, but, I've been with her 7 years. If I was gonna cheat on her, I wouldn't be wasting my time 7 years later. Every time I get a message from a girl, I end up deleting it because I don't want to cause any more drama, and that's what I get accused of, hiding conversations.
So, Ms. Polzin, why do you think he's cheating now?
Recently, I had a girl that I don't really know, but she worked for me about 5 or 6 years ago. She came to my place of work, and she said, I've got something to tell you. I was just kind of like, okay. And she said, the week you were going to Myrtle Beach, I spent the week with your boyfriend, and I just thought you should know. I was just caught off guard. I just stood there dumb. I was like, is that it? I didn't know what else to say. And she said, yep, that's it. I said, all right then. And
So, Mr. Callender.
Thank you. Yeah, what do you say to that?
I had a buddy stop in while they were going to Myrtle Beach. I had the house to myself, so he figured he'd come over and we'll hang out and party. Well, I didn't know he was bringing a girl with him, and as far as I know, that was his girl. We were hanging out, and then we discussed Miss Polzin, and that's how I found out that the girl had actually worked for her and got fired. And the girl started trash talking, oh yeah, I don't like her and this and that. And another buddy of mine called and said a friend of mine had to be rushed to the hospital, so I dipped out from my house and they left, party ways, and that was the last time I seen them. She was only there for maybe an hour.
Well, why in the world would she go to your girlfriend, your fiancé, and say, I spent the week with...
I don't know if it was a grudge she had against her for getting fired, for her firing her or what. I couldn't understand it.
But you're thinking, because I know what I'm thinking, who stops by my place of employment and says, by the way, just thought you should know I spent the week with your boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah. And now we have this 7-year relationship that's on the line because you now have someone telling you, hey, I was with your man, right?
Right.
This could be the end of your relationship.
Oh, honey, it's okay. It's okay.
It's overwhelming.
Here's the thing. You'll know up or down, so you can make some good decisions, right? All
Right.
Now, I see you have a witness here. Would you please stand up to the podium so we can hear from you? Would you please state your name?
Karen Allen.
All right, Miss Allen, what is your relationship to the litigants?
I'm Anthony's mother.
You're his mother.
Yes.
And you're testifying on behalf of Miss Polzin.
Yes.
Wow, 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 wow.
Okay. Well, let me just ask the question. Do you believe that Mr. Callender is cheating?
100%.
100%.
Yes, sir. When we go to the beach, I have a timeshare. Each year, we go to the beach. My son stays at my home to take care of my dogs. And this happened before a young lady stayed at my home with my son, or the allegation was made. And he actually sent a picture to Rachel while we were on vacation of the girl in Rachel's house. So when it happened the second time with the young lady going to her work, to me it was like, okay, he thinks that when we go out of town, out of sight, out of mind. I think in his mind it's, okay, they're on vacation, I'm on vacation.
What kind of picture did he send?
It was the girl sitting on his Rachel's sofa.
Okay. Was she nude or was she...
Recognized the sofa.
Okay, but she was dressed.
She
it
was
wasn't...
dressed,
Okay,
yeah.
so it was like, okay.
Oh, yes, and said, don't worry, I'm not lonely.
Your own mother is here testifying that you're cheating, that when the cat's away, the mouse is playing big time. What do you have to say about that?
Well, my mother had also told me that while they were down there that Miss Polzin was seeing another man.
Okay, but see, this is another instance. She already said that you're accusing her trying to deflect our attention from what you're doing. And I'm asking you, your own mother, who knows you probably better than almost anybody else in the world.
Mamas know. So
is
let me
saying
be clear.
that you're being with other women.
And that you sent pictures of other women in Miss Polzin's home.
I was having a party. I had some friends over. I was just letting her know I wasn't there all by myself.
So out of all the people at the party you could have sent a picture of to her, you chose to send a picture of a woman.
It was actually a video.
Oh, well, step it
well,
up a notch.
okay, well,
okay. That
That
makes
doesn't
it
make
better.
it better.
That doesn't.
I mean, and I'm just thinking of it from a guy's perspective. If you wanted to show that you were being innocent, that you weren't doing anything that was wrong, you probably would include some guys' pictures in the video, right?
A group picture.
You just wouldn't show a girl.
But I think what really sets it off, Cutler, is the fact that he says, don't worry about it, I'm not lonely. Here's a pic. Yeah,
That's kind of gets that little dig in there.
That's a little dig in there. That's, as our sons would say, that's petty.
And that's what I believe, that he wants her to feel like, okay, appreciate me because someone else will.
So, Ms. Polzin, how does it make you feel that your potential future mother-in-law is saying, honey, yeah, this is what my son does?
All right, well, I'm just hoping that today maybe we can see if it really is or not, you know.
Ms. Polzin, I mean, we've heard from his mother, but you've actually brought another witness with you who says he's cheating. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, we want to hear from her. Ron, would you escort the witness in, please?
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are y'all?
Good. Okay, would you please state your name for the record?
Heidi Mack.
Miss Mack, what is your relationship to the litigants?
I am Anthony's ex. We have a child together, and I've always kept in touch with his mother, and now me and Rachel are friends.
Why did your relationship with Mr. Callender end?
Basically the same thing. He just jealousy. It was always him accusing me of doing things, you know, just really the same thing. He is a smooth talker, and he could talk his way out of anything.
So you're saying he would be accusing you of cheating?
Oh, yes.
And did he cheat on you?
He would always deny it, and I would always believe him. And then when we finally broke up, he finally told me, yes, I cheated on you the whole time.
Mr. Callender, not only do you have your own mother saying that you're cheating, now we have an ex that says you cheated and lied about it.
Well, I don't deny my past, but, you know, every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. People change.
So have you changed?
Yeah. I learned from my mistakes.
But here's the thing, it's the exact same pattern. She says, I accused you, you denied it. You accused me, I wasn't. Same thing here. She's saying, are you cheating? You're denying it, but you're accusing her of cheating to the point that you actually appeared in paternity court about your firstborn child. And it was your baby. And the cherry on the top of this is that your mother's like, yeah, I think he's doing this.
Well, I mean, if I was, I wouldn't have wasted 7 years.
You know, Ms. Polzin, I'm watching Mr. Callender. I'm watching the expression on his face, and I don't know that he's taking this as seriously as I think he should be taking it. Tell him what today's proceeding means to you and what's going to happen if the results come back and show that he's cheating.
If the results come back and show he's cheating, we can't go any further with our future. And it means a lot to me because, like I said, we've had 7 years together, and I wasted a lot of time if, you know, it was for nothing.
And this means everything to you.
Yes.
Well, because this means everything to you, because this means everything about your future, this court has done a full and complete investigation. At this time, the court will call certified polygraph examiner Dave Lawrence to determine, is he cheating? Ron, please escort Mr. Lawrence in.
How are you, Mr. Lawrence?
Doing fine, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Glad to see you.
You performed a polygraph examination on Mr. Callender, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I did. But before I present the results, I'd like to submit this information to the court.
Okay. Ron, would you grab that, please?
Yes, John. Thanks, sir. Your Honor.
Thank you, love.
So this is a note regarding your polygraph examination of Mr. Callender. And it says, Mr. Callender had to be warned numerous times about using breathing techniques during the test. Wow. He then said he suffered from asthma and bronchitis, none of which would have any effect on these test results.
Okay.
So he's using breathing techniques. What do you mean by that?
It's a technique that's going to control breathing along with suppression. It's commonly referred to as countermeasures.
You know how to go in and make sure that those countermeasures don't affect the test. Is that correct?
That's correct. I had to omit some of the areas within the test. I still collected enough data that I could make a conclusion.
So somebody like Mr. Callender can't beat you or the test. Is that correct?
I'm very confident he didn't do it this time.
All right. And
So you asked Mr. Callender a series of questions, correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
You asked Mr. Callender, during your 7-year relationship, have you had physical sexual contact with anyone while Ms. Polzin was out of town? What was his response to that question?
Your Honor, he said no.
What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined he was being deceptive.
So while the cat's away, the mouse does play, doesn't he, Mr. Callender?
all right. You also asked Mr. Callender, have you ever had sexual intercourse with a woman who claimed she spent the week with you while your girlfriend or fiance was out of town? What was his response?
He said no.
What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined that he was being deceptive.
What do you want to say to your fiance, the woman who is carrying your child?
I didn't do it.
That's all you got?
You know, your mouth is saying one thing, but your face, your body, your whole demeanor is saying something else. Because sitting up here, I don't get the impression that you're taking this seriously. I don't think that you think she's gonna walk out that door. You got that look on your face like, yeah, it'll be all right, it'll be all right.
Now, let me tell you something. You are beautiful. You are a lovely young lady. Any man would be happy to treat you like you should be treated. And I know that you're standing here going, but I've got a child on the way, blah, blah, blah. There's a man out there. We see them here every day where they're being cheated on, and they're great guys who want somebody just like you. They want a family, okay?
You all have been together for 10 years and married 8 years.
Yes.
Mrs. Hendricks, why have you brought your husband to court today?
Because I feel that he's been cheating, and if he is, I'm done.
You look like you're already hurting. Tell me about that. How are you feeling?
A lot of animosity, a lot of anger and hate.
All right, Mr. Hendricks, what are you here for?
Here to prove to her I ain't done nothing wrong and I'm not a cheater.
And you understand what is at stake. She is saying if she finds out otherwise, she's out.
Oh, I'm perfectly aware of what's at stake. We have children, a house, a marriage, an entire life.
And you're planning to save that today?
Yes.
You better, me and the kids are leaving, and there's the girls and then the baby, I mean.
You're expecting?
Yeah, I'm 6 months.
It's our first son, Your Honor.
So there's a lot on the line.
Yeah, I'm just to the point where I want to get closure on it so I can get over it to make me and my kids' lives better with or without you.
When you do look at him, what is it that you see?
I feel like I gave my life to somebody who didn't care.
What do you see when you look at her?
Perfection.
Wow.
Even on best days, nothing but perfection.
So you still feel the same about her as you did when you first got together?
As a decade ago, yes, sir.
What did you see in him when you first got together?
He was amazing. I mean, he's an amazing father. My 13-year-old, she asked him if she could call him daddy, and he said yeah, and a lot of guys aren't comfortable with that.
Right.
He eventually ended up adopting her 4 years ago, yesterday, in fact.
Oh. He sounds like the perfect guy. Where did this go wrong?
He has an ex that was a mutual friend of ours. In fact, the day that I brought him over there to her house, we were picking her up. She had been drinking the night before. Well, she covers up her head. She said, "What's his name?" And I said, "Chris Hendricks." And she's like, "Oh my God, I had a past from like way back in high school with him."
Okay.
About a week after he proposed to me, she calls me up and she says, "You'll never know how he feels because he's never going to tell you." And I said, "Excuse me? What are you talking about?" She says, "Well, you know, whenever he proposed to you, it should have been me." I said, "Excuse me? That was almost 20 years ago."
Is this ex still in love with you?
Obviously, yes. I got a lot of them.
Oh, no.
A lot of exes or a lot of exes that are still in love with you?
I got a lot of exes and they're still in love with me.
That's not a lie. They contact him all the time. I mean, there's another time I called his job and a woman was like, "Well, who is this?" And I said, "Well, his wife." And she said, "What? He has a wife?" And she slams the phone down. He gets on the phone. He actually tells me not to call his job and tell them that I'm his wife. You still, to this day, have never explained that to me. And that was within the first year we were married.
It's a chef thing.
All right, so you're in the kitchen, you're cooking food, so why can't people know that you're married? Why can't people know you're married?
Because he's legally separated in every job that he works.
The fellow cooks know I'm married, just not the waitstaff.
Why?
Because they could take their aggression out on you, and if they don't think that you're married, you can make their night easier by flirting with them.
This is preposterous. I just...
Thank you.
That is just... And I cannot believe that every chef in the world is not married or is playing like they're not married so that the waitstaff will get along with them. It's just unacceptable.
One of his family members told me that she actually seen him walk a woman out about 2 o'clock in the morning and kiss her.
Never happened.
Which part? That you didn't walk her out or you didn't kiss her?
I didn't walk anybody out.
So what happened? Why is she saying this occurred?
I have no idea.
He has a problem with the truth and
But
honesty.
it's your family member that told her that.
They don't like us together to begin with.
All right, so you deny that you were kissing on this woman.
Yes, sir.
You did not even walking a woman out.
Didn't walk anyone outside.
Okay, well,
didn't walk
what
anybody
about whenever your ex that I was telling you about earlier, well, a mutual friend of mine and hers had passed away, so I went and picked her up to go to the funeral with me.
Okay, so wait. You picked her up, took her to the funeral. Did she stay in your home?
She stayed at my mother's home, yes.
Okay.
We lived there because my mother is disabled, so we lived there taking care of her. And I went outside to smoke. She was in the shower whenever I left. Whenever I came back in, she was naked on the bed, and Chris was in there. He was turned towards the window, but you know how easy is it to flip around? You know, for all I know, the story that I got from her was he was trying to get an erection, and he couldn't because he was afraid I was going to walk in like I did. He turned around to button up his pants.
Didn't happen either.
Well, Mr. Hendricks, why is there some naked woman in the room where you are other than your wife?
She invited her to stay. She's the one that jumped out of the shower and came into the same bedroom we were staying in.
Why were you in there, though? Why didn't you leave the room?
I was already there. Why do you think I was turning?
Why didn't you leave the room?
Man.
I mean, if there was a naked man on the bed with me or in the room, I'm pretty sure there would have been fights.
She was in a towel at first.
Okay. If she was in the towel at first, where was the towel when I walked in for
Ask
one?
her. She
All right,
took it off.
Hold on. Why didn't you just leave the room?
I was in shock and awe about, hey, she
If
came
you were
out of the
facing
shower.
the doorway, you would have been facing me. There wouldn't be an issue.
How long were you in the room with her naked?
Oh, maybe 10, 15 minutes tops.
Thank you.
10 to 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, no.
10 or 15?
No, you couldn't be. Not 1 minute, not 1 second. That's
I thought
unacceptable.
you were going to say 10 to 15 seconds.
Seconds, yes. Like she drops her towel, you go out.
And then
She was sitting on my bed naked.
Okay, so you're telling me that a woman who has feelings for you is on your bed naked, and you're in the room with her 10 or 15 minutes.
Yes.
And nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
She just laid down on the bed.
She just laid there. I turned around, she took the towel off. I just kept forward. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
So she's laying on the bed, you're standing looking out the window, facing away from her, just standing there for 15 minutes?
Yeah.
That
Really?
is so
I
bizarre.
don't know what to do.
This does not add up at all.
That's how it went. I mean, it don't sound right.
Okay,
it was a
well,
bad
what about the
judgment on me for
Facebook
staying.
messages I get from other women from your Facebook that come to my phone because it's set up that way?
That you pretend to be me because I don't
Yeah,
get on
I do
Facebook.
pretend to be you because it's happened before. I have evidence.
All right,
I
Rob,
have
would you
messages,
please bring that?
evidence.
Okay, so you're on Facebook pretending to be him?
Because I get a message from
All the
somebody
time.
that says that she works at the casino with him. She's talking about how she's imagining him nude and how sexy he is, and she can't tell him that because she's shy.
So in this text message exchange, there's another woman, and she's texting who she
There
believes...
are 2 different Facebook messages there from 2 different women.
Okay.
So the first one is between the woman, and she believes it's Mr. Hendricks, but it's actually you.
Yes.
So she says, I try to undress you with my eyes.
You know I'm married, right? LOL.
And then the other woman says, I thought you were legally separated.
Every time. I've heard that probably 6 different times.
So, Mr. Hendricks, why is there a woman out there who thinks that you're legally separated from your wife?
It was child support papers I got served with, and the sheriff said that I was separated, and when they brought it in to me, everybody thought I was separated, so I just went with that.
Did you think you were separated?
No.
Were you acting like you were separated?
I've never told anybody I was separated.
There is another message here from another woman.
Yes.
She writes, I liked you, but you hurt me.
Huh? How?
And she says, you messed around with me, plus you said, I am growing feelings.
You were growing emotional feelings for another woman?
Yes.
Okay, so now you understand why I'm like, you telling your coworkers I'm single or not telling them you're married, this is what happens.
I actually went on about having a 30-minute conversation with her. And she was telling me about my daughter and how beautiful she was and how she looked just like him. And
did you call her up or did she call you up?
No, it was all on Facebook, so she had no idea that it was not him.
So this 30-minute conversation that you have,
she thinks it's him.
She thinks it's him.
Yeah.
I don't even know about these messages until she decides to get mad enough to tell me about them.
You didn't know?
Nope.
I called you and I told you I was getting ready to go meet her at the bar, and if you didn't want me to go to jail, you better show up there, so you did. Along with another one of my family members who picked up our kids in case I did go.
Okay, talk to us. Talk to us. She thinks she's going to meet Mr. Hendricks at the bar.
Yes.
Okay, so you get to the bar and what happens?
He won't go inside. I go in and I sit by her. She's sitting here texting me the whole time. Are you gonna come out? Are you gonna come out? I'm on my second drink. Are you in the smoke area? Everything like that. And I was like, no, I'm outside. I said, you come outside. Well, she starts walking outside to her car. And I go outside and I say, are you looking for somebody? And she said, yeah, I'm here to meet one of my coworkers. I said, are you talking about my husband that's standing right over there?
Oh, I was right there, because ain't nothing going on with this chick.
And what did she say?
She just kind of looked shocked. She didn't say anything to me, and she looked at him. She said, what the? And I said, yeah, what's going on?
Did she know he was married?
She said, I thought you were legally separated because that's what's going around the casino.
So mind you, though, all of this is because you won't tell folks on the job you're married.
I tell certain people I'm married, but certain people I just let it be. But this chick here, man, she made the whole relationship thing up anyway. I've walked in there with my ring on. She knows I'm married.
So it's your testimony that in spite of all of this, you have never physically cheated on your wife.
Not except for that emotional relationship that I had. That was
And who
one,
was-
that was a kiss
don't
once
lie.
or
I was
twice.
going to say don't lie because you've admitted
We had
kissing.
kissed once or twice, but everybody else I've never touched. Because
So
every
the
time,
last
I would come home from work, she'd spend more time on her phone. There was no communication. So I got communication
Okay,
from
my
a female
grandpa
at work.
just died.
Wait, Miss Hendricks.
We would sit here and we would, chit-chat and conversate on our smoke breaks at work. More and more and more. I got less communication with her. She was always on her phone and all that kind of crap, yelling at me, yelling at the kids. Me and her spent more time on our breaks. I wound up kissing her once or twice. It ended right there.
And so that's the only
That
cheating
is the
that
only
you've
time.
done. And so what you're saying is the reason you did it is because you weren't getting the appropriate attention at home.
She cut me off.
I don't want to talk to him because, and I told him, it's because I can't stand to talk to him. Sometimes I can barely look at him. I mean.
All right, turn to him and say, you make me feel like this.
You make me feel sick. I don't feel like you love me. You sit there and you talk about me being on my phone all the time, but I mean, where do you say, hey, you want to go do something? You want to talk? I mean,
I've tried that. You ignore me.
I do not.
You
I
sit
can
there like
ask
the kids
you-
can come up and ask you a question.
You
You
don't
don't
even
hear
go to
them.
sleep with me anymore. You play your Xbox all the time.
Yeah, 'cause
until like 4 a.m.
You play on your phone until your eyes start to close, then you go to bed.
Because I don't want to talk to you.
Well, maybe I need to work on it.
You do, because it hurts real bad.
You need to work on things as well, though.
All right, to get to the bottom of this, the court has retained the services of a licensed private investigator. Ron, would you please show Ms. Jane Holmes into the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Holmes, how are you?
Great.
Good to see you.
Ms. Holmes.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Ms. Hendricks believes that her husband is having an affair. In this case, in connection with the Hendricks, what did you do?
I went undercover with Mr. Hendricks here yesterday, and we sat in a room. I was pretending to be a litigant that was getting ready to have a lie detector test. I was trying to gain his trust so that he would either admit or deny his allegations of infidelity.
What, if anything, did you learn from your time with Mr. Hendricks?
Well, I spent a good amount of time with him speaking in the room, and I was trying to analyze his verbal language as well as his body language. We did a video, as you can see. He's sitting in an open stance in the room, which indicates to me that he really has nothing to hide. He seemed very open and honest and forthcoming.
In addition to your interview with Mr. Hendricks, he was given a lie detector test. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Right. And Mr. Hendricks was asked, has he had any sexual contact or intercourse with a woman he had an emotional affair with? What was his response to that question?
He responded no.
What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined that he was being truthful.
Thank you. Wanted to get that out. That's been a big shadow over this marriage, and she just found out I'd never touched her.
Well, we have a couple more questions. Mr. Hendricks was also asked, has he had sexual contact or intercourse with 2 of his co-workers? What was his response?
He responded no.
What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined that he was being truthful.
And the final question, Mr. Hendricks was asked, had he had sex with his ex? What was his response?
His response was no.
What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined that he was being truthful.
What do you want to tell your husband?
I'm sorry.
Almost a decade together. You think I'd give it up? That easy? Flirting's one thing. I'd never stab you in the back that way.
And I do love you. You know that.
I love you. You and the kids are my life.
Mr. Hendricks, I feel you feeling this.
I feel everything. I just got a thick shell when it comes to showing it. This is what I came here to prove.
Break that shell and tell her how you feel right now.
I want to go home and be happy. Start all over.
I do too, more than anything.